Who would you say handles mental health issues better, men or women?
Men.
Really?
Yeah. I know.
Why?
I don't know. I'm thinking of like TV shows that I've watched, you know, like, what is it? It's a Fatal Attraction with, what's his name?
I know Fatal Attraction, the film.
The Bunny Boiler. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy for women to be seen as like crazy, or The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. There's tons of them. Single White Female. Like, all these 90s and 80s like thrillers that revolve around like a woman who goes crazy. So like I think they've always just been pushed into that narrative. You know, like people forgetting that like they could suffer with like endometriosis, or they could have any like health problems going on that's like affecting them mentally, but people obviously don't think about that. But yeah, I think women have been pushed into like a box where like being nuts is like the normal example. But now I just love that Charlie XCX. Have you ever listened to Brat? Or do you know what Brat is?
No.
Oh, it's just like the album of the year. But it's basically just like acting. Can I swear on this?
Yeah.
It's like acting cunty.
Right. Okay.
So like you walk around like smoking inside or getting completely leathered or anything. And basically it's everyone this year has had like a Brat summer. So it's like a good thing. You know, like you're confident, you're empowered, you're doing what you want to do. But really, a Brat summer is everything that Britney Spears was doing in 2007. Or who else?
So shit you shouldn't be doing, really.
Basically just acting wild and rebelling, but still like kind of behaving, like not hating anyone. But yeah, but Charlie XCX has been like proper praised for it. Kind of like, you know, like Miley Cyrus, like lighting up a blunt at like the VMAs and
Right, okay.
when she was going through that weed phase. Like basically stuff like that. But it is a lot easier for everyone now. But I'd definitely say men probably, I don't want to say can handle it better, but we don't get tarnished with like the same brush.
Right, okay.
Although
so?
it can be harder for men to talk about it though, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
Because girls have like the girlfriends. Boys aren't going to be like, oh, I've got my boyfriends, because that just sounds stupid.
Why do you think it's, obviously with the friend thing, why do you think it's harder for men to talk with their friends than it is for women to talk to their friends?
I honestly don't know. This day and age now, it is a lot easier though, but I've still got friends now that I know like probably could be struggling, but they're not talking to me about it. Or like you could even ask, but you don't want to push because then arguments could start and stuff like that. But I think going to the gym and looking after yourself always helps, but it is tricky though. I still think it's tricky being a man talking about mental health.
How do you think like more people should combat tackling their mental health problems?
Normally Googling yourself is the worst thing, because like you Google it and like you're dead already. But at least
Googling what in terms of like how you're feeling?
Yeah, just like, why am I feeling like I'm always sad, or why am I feeling like nothing physically is going wrong in my world, but why am I feeling just low, like a low mood, or like why is everyone pissing me off? Why am I getting angrier at like car traffic? Stuff like that. Because that's like, at least that's one step forward, Googling why you're doing it. But then I think the next step is calling the doctors, and that's what most people are terrified of for some reason. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else.
What do you wish you
think?
like sort of like, on what do I think on why men don't talk?
Yeah,
I think it's more of like a pride thing.
Yeah.
Obviously you don't want to lose your pride as a man, and I think
masculinity, that's a massive thing. Yeah, like
yeah, I think it's strange in the modern day because people say you should talk to anyone about it, and I think sometimes that can be a bit detrimental. You have to be very
said than done.
Yeah, you have to be very. I think you have to be very picky about what. So what's this? Do you want to read out?
Yeah, so it basically just highlights here that women are much more likely to experience any mental health problems than men. When you go through it, anxiety disorders, women more likely, depression, eating disorders, women are 3 times as likely as men.
Eating disorders, huge.
But you go through them all, and the interesting bit for me is the paragraph at the bottom is that however men are actually the ones who are more likely to die by suicide than men.
I think it relates to I think the actual stat for that is that women are more likely to want to commit suicide, but men are more likely to actually go through with it. So because they go through they usually go through it by like really severe forms of doing it, like, you know, hanging yourself or, you know, using guns, things like that, whereas women tend to poison themselves, and that can usually be, you know, a bit hit and miss.
We lost a family friend. I think it was last year, but I can't remember exactly when. But he killed himself, and it's not nice.
Yeah. But men tend to go about it with much more like sort of ruthless intent, if you will, than women. But I think to go back to what we were saying then, like I said, for men, it's like they've got that sort of the ego thing there. They don't want to talk about it. We've kind of alluded to this before, but in terms of like men usually want to just find solutions to problems. For me, like when I've struggled personally, I didn't want to sit there talking about it. Like I just wanted it to be sort of...
You feel like it makes it worse, but exactly, really, there is a weight lifted off your shoulders.
I think, again, when you're talking to the right people, like, it can be better, but the thing is, like, it's only better in the short term. Like, whenever I've talked to someone, or whenever, you know, a man usually talks to someone about whatever the problem is, it can be good for maybe that day, and it relieves them in the short term, but then it's not solved anything. So then the day later, they go right back to it. Whereas I feel like if you get a solution as a man, once the solution comes around, then that is the cure to it. Whereas I feel like a lot of women, a lot of the time they just want to talk about it. Like, I got some very good advice, and I wish I'd have got it when I was 18, of like, when you're in a relationship with a girl and she has a problem, if she comes to you with that problem, a lot of the time I would try and be like, right, well, why don't you do X, Y, or Z to combat the problem, give her solutions to the problem. And then, you know, and I was having all this, like, not that I've had massive unsuccess, but, you know, I've had these problems throughout my life of, like, you know, girls getting upset with me because I'm too blunt. And I remember hearing this one thing, and this guy said basically, like, when a girl comes to you with a problem, what you should do is you should say to them, well, do you want a solution to the problem, or do you want to just be heard? And he said about 90% of the time, they'll just want to be heard. They don't want a solution.
Someone to listen to them.
Yeah, exactly. And then literally, like, I've only started doing this recently, but I've used that now, and I've not yet had a girl say to me, oh, well, I want a solution.
The difference it makes.
And like, obviously going forward now, like, that's like a, you know,
it's like
a piece of gold knowing that.
Yeah, this is nothing worse though when you are not venting but telling someone something, and it's like they hear you but they're not listening. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, someone can hear you saying things but they're not listening, and that's one of the worst things. I was thinking though, when you showed me that then, it reminds me of this Homer Simpson quote from The Simpsons that he said, and it's so true, and it's alcohol is the cause and solution of all of life's problems. And I was like, it's so true, because how many men and women would rather just use like substances and alcohol to
numb themselves?
Because it works. It does. I've done it myself. And obviously the next day you're like, kill me, because you just feel rough. But you know, over time it doesn't fix anything. And again, to go sort of back, I think a lot of the advice given to men these days is like, well, you just talk to anyone, and I feel like that sometimes, well, a lot of the time can be detrimental, because I think a big thing that people say these days is, well, you know, especially if you're in a relationship, then you should talk to your partner about it. And I think that's where a lot of men, they kind of like take that advice, which is understandable because people are getting told their advice, but a lot of the time, like, it ends up destroying the relationship, because you're sort of putting it on your partner. Obviously, most of the time, your partner being a woman, and a lot of the time they really I can really see
struggle.
that.
Like I think in short term, like, again, it's not too bad, but over time, if you're constantly doing that without the solutions, and they will sort of grow to be like less attracted to you over time.
I think that's where people need to learn how to be in relationships then, or just not be in them at all. You know, like, I'm not friends with these people anymore, so I can talk about it. Basically, I know I've known like girls, and the fellas have been like struggling and stuff like that, and the fellas have been honest with them, said that they've been struggling, told them what it was they were struggling with, whether it be like work, money, whatever, or even like if they think they're having kids or something and they're just nervous about being a dad, which is natural. They've voiced all these things, and like the girl's like, oh, you're not a man, but blah blah blah, just like moaning about it, and I'm like, well, that's the last thing you want. Imagine if it was the other way around.
Well, it's
like
not. It's
the
not. Yeah.
girl was complaining to him, and he was like, "Oh, shut up! You're not a real woman."
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's,
Do you know what I mean?
it's exactly right. Like I've seen so many, like not just on
Like,
the internet, but
just
like,
like,
seen real life
What's the
examples
word?
of that.
Like, not to. What's the word?
Hypocrisy.
Well, yeah, that. But like, not devaluing them. Well, it is, but
But
emasculating.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it. And
yeah.
there's nothing worse than I hate seeing a man being emasculated by like a brassy girl. I
Yeah. Oh no.
hate it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Although obviously I've got loads of girl mates and lads, but yeah, seeing someone who's getting like emasculated for no reason. Well, I don't think it's any reason, but
Yeah.
that does piss me off.
But like that does happen. Like, you know, if a man does do that, sometimes he will be emasculated.
Especially
so, like,
when he's struggling, like, and he's
Yeah.
come to you with the struggles as
yeah.
well.
So not only if you then like emasculate him in the moment, you've also then made damn sure that he'll never like disclose anything ever.
Oh yeah,
again.
he'll never
So-
come to you with the
so then
problem
if-
again, and then
yeah.
that's usually maybe cheating at the start, and then she's like, "Oh, I didn't see this coming."
Yeah.
Do
So
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
So I think it kind of relates back to what we were saying of like I think you have to be very careful. Like for any guy,
Yeah,
if I was giving a man advice, I wouldn't know how to give women advice. I wouldn't pretend to because I'm not a woman. But if I was giving a guy advice on like if he's struggling, I would say go and talk to your mates, go and talk to your dad. Do you have a brother? Do you have someone you really trust? Like go and talk to your friends.
that's normally what I say. Someone
Yeah.
who you trust, because some people don't even have like good relationships with the brothers or the dads. So
Yeah.
I would always say, yeah, someone you trust. Like I wouldn't say go to like a manager, because I'm not even going to go down that road.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But then even if you were to talk to like a complete, I'd even tell them to talk to a complete stranger before talking to the
Oh my
wife
God.
about all the problems. Like,
it's honest to God, like back to like the art stuff. Some of my biggest supporters this year have been strangers on the internet that I haven't even met. I even set up like is it buymeacoffee.com, and like it's like a thing for like people online who they use it to buy the supplies and stuff. So
Right.
they can literally just tip you like a $5 every few months or as much as they want. And I put it on my Instagram, and like it's people I've never even met that are supporting me, but it literally can be like strangers. Like I've gone to loads of different meditation classes, you know, like proper spiritual ones around Liverpool, and I've ended up having heart-to-hearts with this other completely like straight lad that, you know, like someone I normally wouldn't hang around with, and like yeah, we just like open each other's minds. Like he's venting to me, I'm venting to him, and then we just kind of understand each other.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I was out with a friend on literally the weekend just gone, and we were just in like this Irish bar, just like sort of just chilling, like watching like the Liverpool game, like the highlights and stuff. And this guy came over and he was with like a works do, and you could just tell like, you know, he wasn't really mates with them, but he, so, I don't know. I don't really know why he gravitated towards us, but when he did, like he was with us like for all night and like for like 2 hours at least, and he was telling us his deepest, darkest secrets of just like, you know, like nothing too crazy, but just like, you know, he'd had a divorce, like he doesn't see his kid, all this sort of stuff.
Oh,
And I just thought like, Jesus, like
that's normally like Siggy break, like
yeah, exactly,
conversation.
yeah, like in the beer garden
Yeah.
and that. And I just remember thinking like, Christ, like he must not have many people around him, like to the point where he's
Yeah.
really not that it was
Oh.
bad. Like I'd say to anyone, like, you know, sometimes doing it to a stranger is probably doing it to something better, probably more beneficial than someone you know. Because I think that's what a lot of like what we said before. Like, you know, if you know them quite well, sometimes it can be quite embarrassing because like they're gonna know that forever and you know that. So like, whereas a stranger,
Yeah.
like, we're never gonna see that guy again. But it's probably helped him a
It's
little
like
bit.
girls in the toilet when they're on a night out, like they'll just meet someone and it'll be the best mate. Obviously, because I'm gay, so I'm not saying I'm allowed to go in the girls' toilet, but it's not frowned upon. So my mates that are in there, they like just call me in, like the girl who's in there selling flip flops and stickers and headbands to like all the girls on the night out. They're obviously just like, get out, and then ignore them. But like normally, if you go into like a nightclub, there's always gays in with the girls while they're
Really?
waiting for them to go to the toilet. Yeah, but you bag it in there, they're just having like heart to heart about like usually moaning about the fella, or that they haven't got a fella, stuff like that, or like that just moaning about work. It's such stupid stuff. Or like, oh, I'm away from the kids, it's my first night out, oh, I've only had one drink, I'm bladdered. Just stupid stuff like that.
Jesus.
I know.
So if you could tell someone was really struggling, what would you tell them? And if you had 20 seconds to tell them.
I'd say my messages are open if you want someone at least to talk to, because it is easier talking to a stranger. I think it is, definitely. Maybe do some breathing techniques as well, or sit still for at least 10 seconds. I can count back from 10. I'm just trying to think back in 2018 when I was feeling like this, what I would have wanted to hear. I probably would have just have wanted a hug. So I don't even think TikTok was a thing then.
What would you have wanted to hear?
Probably one of them like cheesy motivational things, like there was nothing you could have done that would have changed it. It was how it was meant to be. It's not your fault. Blah blah blah. But that is what you've got to say though, because like, even though you're going through what you're going through and you feel like absolute shit, that other person could be going through something, and like, do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to do something to them to like mess up their karma. Does that make sense? Like the breakup that I was going through, I found out like later on that they were going through something themselves anyway. So yeah, I was probably the problem, like 50%, because I was a bit of a crank. But at the same time, they had something else going on, and it was only after we broke up they told me that like they were going to the doctor and they were getting themselves sorted out, because I did suggest it to them when we were together, but it kind of like hit a nerve, and it was like, no, blah 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 blah. But yeah, someone else could be going through something, so that's like quite a big thing in life, like if you think someone else is going through something, or you think someone's got a problem with you, just think they might have something going on. I don't know, that's all I can word it as, but yeah, I probably want to see some kind of inspirational message.
What do you wish that you understood more when you were going through like your deepest, darkest moments? So something that you didn't understand at the time that you wish you did?
Not to take things personally.
How so?
No, just like, so I used to be a lot bigger as well. I've lost a bit of weight this year, but like even stupid words, like, because people think men don't have like body image issues, it's just women who have like eating disorders and stuff. But I got like, called, I don't want to say the word, but basically it was like a fat slur, and I'm laughing about it now because it is funny, but at the time, and I was really struggling, I was like, ugh. And it made me go on to like slimming tablets, and then they made me go crazy. I can't believe they're still actually for sale. People can still get them, and it's legal in like a clinic. It's like a form of speed.
Right.
Honest to God, I'm not even going to tell you where they sell it, but there's clinics in Liverpool that are still allowed to sell this product.
And what does it do exactly?
It makes you go nuts. My hair was thick before I used to take them. It's called Fentanyl,
right?
And it's a type of speed, and you'd have heart palpitations on it. If you're drunk, you were like 50% likely to have a stroke. You wouldn't eat at all because it's a complete appetite suppressant. But like the proper like mentally, they were like probably a big tie-in to me.
Right.
Having them, like as skinny as I was, and like, yeah, it wasn't worth it. Honest to God. But when I come off them, I seen like a massive change, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. So what would you have wanted to know though?
What would I have want to known?
So you said to not take.
Oh yeah, not take it personally. Don't know. To know that everything was going to be alright is probably a big thing. It's like I remember seeing a psychic, and at the very end of the thing, she just kept saying to me, I didn't have a clue what she was on about. Everything sounded quite good, she said, and then at the very end of the thing, she went, everything's going to be alright, everything's going to be alright. This was when I was still married, and she was like, you're going to be okay. It might seem like it's the end, but everything's going to be okay. Like, you might know what I'm talking about now. And because I remember, I thought, oh, she's shit. She didn't know what she was on about. And then looking back now, that's obvious. I knew what she was talking about. Like, for some reason, she could tell everything that was going to happen to me. So yeah, probably to know, just someone to say it'll all be okay. I probably overplayed "Don't Worry, Be Happy" by Bob Marley a lot. Yeah, just like a lot of music got me through it as well. But that's what I'd want to know, that everything was going to be alright.
What advice would you give to men who are obviously struggling and are avoiding seeking help, or just straight up are refusing to seek help? What advice would you offer them?
You can't force anyone to seek help, because I've tried to do that in the past and it's just not a good result. I know we said before, you can't even just say like talk to anyone, because it's not as easy as it sounds. I would recommend Talk Liverpool though. I went on a few like group sessions with them, but you can do like one-to-one counselling sessions. It could be like a long wait though.
So what are they?
I think it's just like a talking service, you know, like part of like it's
On
under
the phone?
It's under the mental health. They can either be on the phone or they do send you in person, but that can be hard for some people because like some people can't leave the house. But yeah, I had to go to a group one, which I didn't love, because if you're going through something, if you can't talk in general anyway about it, why would you go to a group and talk to people in a class about it? But in the end, I think I had like 6 weeks of that, and then went to one-to-one sessions, which were good. Yeah, if people didn't want to seek help, I'd at least try and nudge them onto like maybe a meditation class, or something where they can learn about themselves and learn about the ego, and learn that like, I'm trying my best to word this, learn about the ego, and really it's not them that's like affected, it's the ego. Like deep down, like everyone, like in a meditation class I was in, they were saying like deep down everyone's happy, happiness is within. It's just your ego that is like bruised, hurt, that your ego that
like
feels
in your own way.
Yeah, like it's not you that feels ashamed when you're feeling embarrassed, it's your ego. Stuff like that. So like stuff like that has really made my mind a lot stronger. Like whenever I've thought someone's got a problem with me, or I've felt ashamed going to the gym or trying like a no exercise because someone's going to be looking at me. Like really they're not. Everyone's doing their own thing in the gym. No one's looking at you.
Yeah, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah, literally no one gives a fuck.
Like like that's what I always say. Like a few people have always said that to me in the past. Like
it's such a big thing.
Yeah, like when I go to the gym, I'm really scared to do this, and I'm just like, I've been in the gym since I was like 15 years old, and I can tell you, I couldn't give less of a shit what other people are doing. I'm just focusing on my set.
Oh, that's good. I like that now. It took me to get to like 30 to get to that mindset.
Yeah,
because I'm like
no one cares.
Yeah, because I'm like early 30s now. I'm just like in that mindset of honestly couldn't care less what anyone thinks. There's a quote actually that I love. There's a few actually. One of them is, "What you think of me, and what others think of you is none of your business," or like what you think of me is none of my business. Like, why am I worrying about what you think of me? Like the energy just isn't worth going into. And the other one is, a different version of you exists in the minds of everyone that knows you.
Okay.
So like work colleagues, nephews, kids, your mum and dad, like everyone knows a different version of you. And what anyone thinks of that version is like none of your business. That's what I had to like come to terms with, because at my exhibit I had all these different people that I know from different backgrounds, like my best mates that I've been like rotten with on holiday, or then my mum and dad, and then like people from work, or like old barber clients and stuff who I've like been professional with in the past. And I'm like, the easiest thing is just to be yourself. And so I was just myself with everyone, and it all went well, thank God. But you know, like you're paranoid, you're like, oh, I adapt myself to like certain situations and people, like a chameleon, but it went well.
Yeah, I think usually as you get older, you sort of just care less and less about that. At least that's what happened with me. I know what you're talking about. Like you sort of you're a different persona in different groups.
Yeah.
Whereas now I feel like I'd say that I still probably have that to some degree, but I have it much less than I did when I was 18, for example.
Oh God, yeah. God. Imagine looking back when you were 18.
Yeah. But slightly to change of topic, what are some of the biggest struggles about being gay?
Biggest struggles about being gay. I don't even know why I'm thinking about this, because there's loads. Well, for one, a couple of years ago, there was like, was it 2021 or 22? I think it was 22. It was like the highest rise in like homophobic attacks in Liverpool. Because I went to a parade. was like a walk with signs and stuff, just to like a protest, just to kind of fight back, because it got to the point where it was like 4 attacks a week, and it was people that I knew in the end, stuff like that. So you've just risk of getting attacked, like wherever you go, really. Another one is like most straight men think you fancy them, and it's like, no, you look like a turd. Do you know what I mean? Like, even if I did fancy you, I wouldn't even go near you, because normally like your birds told me stories about you, and it's not impressive. But it's like when I went to a networking event the other night, and there was strippers there, and they just like aim for you like you were like the entertainment, and I was like, here we go. Like, I did come here thinking it was like a professional networking event, and I'm getting like dicks swung in my face. Like, right. I wouldn't complain normally, but
so they were male strippers.
Oh yeah, there was a female dancer there as well.
Okay, right.
Which she was amazing, to be honest. But yeah, she still had like her ass in my face. They're like dancing. I put a video on actually. I put a video on of her dancing. She was like at I'm gonna say she was Spanish. I don't know. She was a Spanish dancer, like proper glamorous and everything, shaking. And I was putting a video on, and I must have looked terrified in the video. And then I put a video on of like Smithers out of The Simpsons. Right. Have you seen the scene where like he's got 2 like Mexican dancers dancing to him, and he looks terrified in the corner? And I was like, that was me. But yeah, these strippers just aim for me anyway, because they're like, oh, this will be funny. I love this. So they're like some of the stupid things that come with it. But like in school, like you're definitely going to get bullied for being different. You're going to get called stupid names. You're more likely to get sexually assaulted as well. No, just like, because the amount of curious straight fellas that I know, they know that it's bad enough with girls if they do anything to girls, but if they do anything to like a gay lad, like, they know that nothing's going to happen, because they're like, oh, they're not going to out me, nothing's going to happen. But yeah, it happens more often than you think. Just loads of prejudice stuff. Something in work the other day happened. There was probably can't talk about it that much because it did form a proper incident, but someone basically just said to me that they were scared of me because I was gay. Right. Like, they were scared of me, like I was gonna go, whoa, like infect them with like gayness. But yeah, that's all getting looked into now actually, so I'm probably not allowed to talk about that. But another thing in work, someone said they were gonna like kill me the next time they see me because I was gay, stuff like that. Yeah, it's just all different things like you probably wouldn't expect.
Jeez.
I know there's more, but I can't think what they are.
Would you say that it's got like better throughout your life, or is it plateaued, or is it getting worse?
I wouldn't say it's got better. I don't know. When I used to be a barber, someone did say to me, I'm not having him cutting me hair because I was gay. So obviously the other barbers kicked him off the shop, so no one done his hair in the end. And then when I worked in Amazon warehouse through lockdown, complete like life change. Someone kept winding me up in there all the time. They're like, "Hiya, babe," and they're just like stuff like that all the time. And like, "Hiya," and in the end, I'd take the piss back and be like, "Oh, hiya." So like, I can give it as good as they can give it, but it was in the end, he just completely said something awful, and he was like, "Oh, shut up or I'll fucking rape you." And when he said that, I was like, okay, that just went a bit far. And then he said it in front of like all these other people, so everyone heard it. I thought, I'm gonna have to go to the manager. So I ended up going to the manager, and when I actually sat down and worded it, I realised like, okay, he's just threatened to rape me, really. I need to take this more seriously. And before he could get told off, he went and handed his notice in, because if he would have got fired because of it, he'd have to tell it to his next job. So I actually forgot about that. Yeah,
so he took the easy way out.
Yeah, so he got the easy way out. Trying to think, there's loads of stupid stories. I'm trying to think, is anything else happened? No, loads of them are like in work, weirdly. I know. So never really like when you're just out and about normally, or? No, it is nervous though, like when you're with your partner and like you're holding your hand. It's easier now, but like I'd never be like one of them ones who can hold your hand or show any public display of affection, because I'd be terrified in case something was going to happen. But it is a lot easier now. But yeah, there's still cunts out there.
We heard a story the other day on the podcast. So there was two lesbian girls, and they talked about having pampas grass in your front room was meaning that you were a swinger. Have you heard that?
I have actually.
And we were wondering are there any like sort of gay subliminal messages that are out there that straight people would just go straight over their head?
It just reminds me. I was a barber, and there was this old guy, and he used to think if his hair was parted to like the right or the left, I think it was the right, it meant he was gay. But like he had a massive cow's lick here, and I was like, your hair is naturally going that way, and he'd purposely force his hair the other way, and I was like, oh fine, you're not gay then, put it that way. But yeah, that just reminds me of that. But no, in the 80s, before like dating apps, and you know, when you used to, because obviously the 80s was a lot different.
Yeah.
You'd definitely get attacked then, especially with like the HIV and AIDS pandemic that was going on. Just horrific. Back then there was like bandanas that you'd wear, you know, like to nightclubs.
Right.
So there could be like yellow, green, black. Basically they were all like paisley designed, and one could mean like you're looking to meet someone.
So you were all, like, you were gay if you had any of them, but then they stood for different, like each colour was different.
Yeah, it was like a giveaway, but obviously that it wasn't public. Like you wouldn't like write in the paper, oh, find out what you are. It was like a thing between the community that you'd know. So somehow straight men knew what it was, because obviously there was a straight one. So there was straight but curious, like colour thing. Gay, like top, but do you know what top and bottom is or not?
No.
It meant like he knows. I'm going to say nothing else because it's rude.
You're gonna have to say it now.
No, I was just going to say no, I can't. But it basically just means like what you're into and what you're after at the club, or right. If you have certain drinks, like if you have like a Cosmo, like if there's an umbrella in it, you want to get like shafted that night, or like if you have a certain like stuff like that means like, or you're after a specific straight man, or like you do certain things. It's absolutely nuts. But there's nothing like, well, I don't think there's anything like that now because I'm not single. But now I think there's just Grindr.
Yeah, like yeah. I remember like I used to live with the gay guy.
Yeah.
And I remember having this conversation, like, you know, like I think I was dating at the time and doing different things. But I remember just like saying to him, like, I bet it's quite hard, like, you know, especially because it was COVID era as well. So you know, I bet going out it's quite difficult to meet gay people anyway, just because of the, you know, the sheer chance or whatever.
Yeah.
But then because we couldn't go out, I was like, oh, I bet it's so hard for you. And he was like, no. I was like, all right then. And he wasn't the best looking guy, and I was like, he's chatting shit here. And then he showed, I'd heard of what Grindr was, but like I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was Tinder for gay people. But it's a lot more. Yeah, it's a lot more than that.
Like Tinder, you've at least got a match with someone before they let it speak to you. You can speak to anyone.
Yeah, whereas he literally opened up his phone. He like messaged like 5 or 6 people, and then like 2 or 3 of them got back to him
with pictures.
Said, like, with pictures and like, I can be around tonight.
Yeah.
And I just thought that,
oh god, I've went through that dark phase myself.
Yeah, I was like, that is blowing my mind of how easy it was. And like I said, he wasn't even that he wasn't like an attractive guy, at least I thought anyway. Oh god, yeah. If I was a girl, I'd be pregnant about 20 times. Sorry. No, so I feel like I need to explain what top and bottom is, but do you know what it is? I feel like he knows.
I'm assuming it's just who's like the giver and who's the taker.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, is that it?
So top is obviously like on top, and then bottom is like
the taker.
Yeah, the hole.
So for gay people, is like gaydar like an actual thing?
My gaydar shit.
Right, is it a thing though?
Yeah, but like I know girls who've got gaydar, but I've had gaydar in the past and it's gone horribly wrong.
In terms of?
They're just like, you'd be like the campus straight lads, but then I always think, oh no, some straight lads are actually in touch with the feminine side, and they can, I don't know, they can be feminine, but they're definitely not gay. Yeah. There's stuff like that, but so what was that? I just got completely distracted. What was the question?
So is gaydar a thing? And like
oh, yeah.
So have you had it in the past in terms of like, has it been successful for you?
Oh. Ish. Yeah. Normally I'm always right, but As I've got older, my gaydar's got shit. I know, I can't explain why, but yeah, it has.
And how does it work for like you in terms of like do you go out? Are you like the pursuer or are you the pursuee?
Do you mean like if it was
like if you were single? So if you were single, like
if it was
in terms of the gay community,
oh god,
like,
no, I'd be terrified.
who decides who goes pursuing and who decides who like is the pursuee, or do you just all pursue? How does it work exactly? I would say like when did you find out that you were gay?
Oh,
when did you know and how did you know?
Oh my god, I actually had this conversation the other day with my partner. We were watching the Terminator Dark Fate. It was like the one that's just come out on Netflix. I thought it was brand new, but apparently it's 2019.
Right.
And have you ever seen the Terminator films?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a few, yeah.
I can't believe I'm about to say this. But you know when like Arnold Schwarzenegger comes down and he's like naked on the floor like that.
Right.
I said to him, I was like, I'm sure that was my first you know where I'm going. I'm not going to say it. I was like, I'm sure that was my first inkling. But it was like a younger kid then. But
how old would you have been?
I don't know, but that film was 2003. I'm 32 now. So how long ago was that?
32, 2000.
20 years ago, so you're looking like 12,
12
13.
Yeah, so that's, like early high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, about right.
But I actually met my ex-husband through school and college. So the whole school knew we were together. But it was actually my cousin that outed me to the school. So that's like quite a big thing. Everyone's got like different coming out stories. But yeah, that's mine. My cousin ended up telling like my dad, and thank God my dad was fine. My mum and dad are fine. But I was fuming.
What was the worst experience you had around that time?
Because the whole school knew then. It was sixth form by this point. So it wasn't that bad. It was mainly in high school when I was bullied over it. Just getting like slapped in the face and stuff like that. People writing stuff in the school stalls. To be honest, it was like I was famous in school. It wasn't, not in a good way.
Well, not the wrong reasons, but for the reasons you wouldn't want.
Yeah. But they technically weren't lies.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it turned out the year later in sixth form, all the ones that bullied me came out as gay. So like everyone that year in our sixth form was gay. And I was like, I can't fucking have anything to myself. So yeah, basically all the ones that bullied me came out as gay. And it that was when I started seeing like a change in like media as well. So it was weird how it all
like
happened.
a societal change. Well, brilliant, mate. Gary, you've been an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks for letting me come on.
Oh, you're welcome.
But like one funny thing about the gay community though is everyone loves like a big stocky hairy bear, you know, like someone cuddly to like cuddle up to. I know I do. But no one wants to be that. Everyone wants to be toned and fit, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like no one wants to be what we all want, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
But just it's nuts. We always say like, oh, don't label us, but we label ourselves. So there's like twink, otter, bear, daddy, muscle. Do you know what I mean? Do you know all these things?
I don't know. Like I can infer what they mean, I guess, but
So
I don't.
Guessing you'd be like an otter.
What does that mean?
It's kind of like a younger bear. So like you're not like massively toned, but you're not chunky, but you've got like something to grab. I don't know, but like you're still young, but you're not dark and hairy. Whereas he's dark with a beard, so straight away he'd be like a bear. Yeah. So like if we were in a nightclub and like
twig.
So like I feel like the gays would go toward him.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I get you.
They'd still go towards you as well, but they're definitely like, oh God, gays are horrific.
More vulnerable, like, I guess is what you're saying. So like if in your relationship, if one of you had like so say if your partner had a straight male friend,
yeah,
would that be like a problem for you?
No, probably not, because I've got loads of straight male friends. But it's like, you know, like barbers I've used to work with, or just people in work, stuff like that. So yeah, probably not.
What if they had like a gay friend?
Oh no, all my mates are gay, so I've got more like gay friends than my partner does. So yeah, we always laugh about that because most of my mates are like gay lads.
So is that jealousy not there in like gay relationships then?
No, it's weirdly like trust each other, but I do know other people with friends that everything's like they're like friends with benefits, but like none of my mates are like that.
Mm.
Well, I hope they're not. Well, yeah, no, none of my mates are like that. But I know what you mean. It's like when a girl and a lad is like, you can't have any male friends.
Mm. Yeah, I get you.
Stuff like that.
Who would you say is like more successful in a relationship, like gay men or gay women? Out of your experience.
Normal. I feel like gays and lesbians are like cats and dogs. There's only a handful of gay women that I get on with. And I'm not like saying anything against them, but normally the majority of gay women I've came across are like aggressive, like quite scared. I'm just more scared of them than like a bouncer on the door. Which is a good thing because they can fucking look after themselves. But normally you do get your wires crossed, so I don't know. Well, I'm happy now with the relationship. We've been together 4 years now, so it's all going amazing. Nothing bad to touch wood. You've never really had like a proper argument in 4 years. You know, like I'm always right, so it's fine. He'll hate that comment. I don't know. I've definitely known many lesbians in relationships. Or the lesbians that I do know, I've been in relationships and then they're not. There's only one girl now that I know that's in a relationship, and they're doing great.
Yeah. Right, so coming towards the end of the show, just like some relatively quick fire questions. So what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Probably don't care what anyone thinks.
What's the worst piece of advice you've ever been given?
If you'd ever downloaded Grindr.
And then what does success as an artist actually look like for you?
Ooh, I like that. Maybe like gallery shows in like worldwide, like New York, Paris, LA, just all over Europe. Collectors in them places as well. I'd love that. Maybe like a brand deal with like just like a big shopping centre, like John Lewis, or I was gonna say Debenhams, but that's not even a thing anymore.
Is it not?
No, Debenhams shut like a few years ago.
I don't know.
But yeah, stuff like that. Now, like, because they sell art and stuff. Like, I know a few artists that have got deals with these places or with like hotels.
Right.
So I'd love that. But bit of news. I don't even know whether I should share this. I won't go into it too much. I done a private commission for someone I know that works in Saudi Arabia, and the work is in her office, and she had a meeting with the Saudi Arabian royal family last week in her office, and they seen my artwork,
Right.
which was quite a big thing.
Created problems, I'm assuming.
But obviously Saudi Arabia, if I went over there, yeah, it couldn't really go well. So, but I still thought that was quite cool that a royal family see my work, which was just insane. But probably that's what would be successful, and a lot more art sales. I'd love to open studio visits, you know, like loads of artists do, like open visits and tours for people to come in and see the work. And
yeah, like their own sort of establishment.
yeah, because I've got the lad who done all my videos for me on Instagram, like interviewing me about the pieces. He's going to come back when the studio's all decorated and set up and just do stuff in there with us.
What advice would you give to someone who was thinking of starting a career in art?
Just do it. Just, yeah, do it. I wish someone would have told me ages ago. I wish I'd have carried on doing this from school, because I ended up doing because I was doing I was doing photography and media studies and art, and I went to college to carry that on. When I was there, I went with my sister. My sister knew the hairdressing teacher. One thing led to another, and I left the college with a barber head and a barber kit.
Right, okay.
And then I was a barber for over 13 years. Not say I've got like no regrets in life. Like all this stuff that's happened wouldn't have got me to where I am now. But yeah, just do it, because I've took it seriously this year, and it's mad thinking like the stuff I've actually achieved this year.
Yeah. So where can people find you or connect with you?
Well, I've got my official website, which is garyharperart.com, and I think it's just the same name for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. Oh, it's not Twitter, X.
X, yeah.
And the new one, Blue Sky.
Brilliant. And then what's next for you?
Well, I've got these different projects that I'm going to do next year. My first exhibit is next January. Oh my God, next January. It's like next week. January till April. It's quite a long exhibit, to be honest.
Right.
So there's a chance that something could sell. And there's a few different magazines coming out and interviews that I'm going to be in. And I've got another podcast as well next month. So that's what's going so far.
Beautiful.